Hello everybody and welcome to another reaction video, and today we're going to revisit Halestorm. Now the first time I listened to Halestorm I was somewhat underwhelmed by what I heard. Having heard her contribute vocals on a track by Lindsay Sterling, very very talented violin player, you know, I went into it expecting a certain level of vocal prowess, and it just didn't come across in the track that I checked out, which was Love Bites. I wasn't that particularly impressed by it, and it was suggested to me that I check out this track, I Miss the Misery. From what I understand, it seems to be about missing a toxic relationship, which is something I can kind of relate to. I've been through several toxic relationships in my life. It's the story of my life, really. It's all I seem to find. But yeah, I'll be interested to see where this one goes and how it differs from the first track that I listened to. So we'll get straight into it. I'll leave a link to the video in the description below as usual. I've got the lyrics here to read along and see what I can analyse from it. But yeah, let's go ahead. This is a very interesting take. I mean, the opening line, "I've been a mess since you stayed." It's like the complete converse of what people would normally say. It's like, "I've been a mess since you went away. I've been a mess since you left. I've been a wreck since you changed. Don't let me get in your way. I miss the lies and the pain and the fights that keep us awake." So yeah, it's sort of like the opposite of a normal sort of love song, I suppose. You know, rather than saying "I've missed you since you've gone, I miss all like the loving words and everything," this is like the complete opposite, and I can kind of see where it's coming from. And then it goes on to say, "I miss the bad things, the way you hate me. I miss the screaming and the way that you blame me. I miss the phone calls when it's your fault. I miss the late nights. I don't miss you at all." You know, it's like when you've been in a relationship like that for some time, you almost get used to it. You know, you sort of expect it. Like, you say you come home from work and you just expect someone to be yelling at you. You expect someone to be doing, you know, saying nasty things to you, insulting you and whatnot. And like, I miss the way that you blame me. I miss the phone calls when it's your fault. And I've had this numerous times where it's like they've done something blatantly wrong. You know they've done something wrong, but they don't want to admit to it. So somehow they twist the truth to make it out that it's because of you that they did it. And in a way, after you've gotten out of a relationship like that, there is a strange part of you that, I wouldn't say you so much miss it, but you've grown so accustomed to it that it just seems so strange not to have it in your life. So yeah, it's quite an interesting take on the subject. Let's carry on.
take it. I'd rather fight than just fake it. You know that I've had enough. I dare you to call my bluff. Can't take too much of a good thing. I'm telling you, I miss the bad things, the way you hate me. I miss the screaming, the way that you blame me. Miss the phone calls when it's your fault. I miss the late nights, don't miss you at all. I like that kick in the face. Everything you do to me, I love the way that it hides. You miss the misery, just know that I'll make you hurt. I miss the lies and the pain, what you did to me. When you tell me you'll make it work, I'd rather fight all night than watch the TV. I hate that feeling inside. You tell me how hard you'll try, but when we're at our worst, it's the misery, it's the bad.
It's just such a strange take on song, but it's actually a really good song. You know, she's, I mean, there's a line there, I don't miss you, I miss the misery. It's like what I was saying before. It's like, though that person's gone, it's not actually that person that you're missing. It's because you've grown so accustomed to that way of life that something seems missing when you don't have it. And whilst it's a good thing, you take a while to sort of adapt and adjust to it. Like there's a line there, I'd rather fight all night than watch the TV. You know, it's like you could be sitting there of a night watching TV and you'll be like, say for example, something that happened to me on more than one occasion. If a attractive woman came on the TV, my girlfriend at the time would start yelling at me, telling me that I was in love with the woman on the TV, and then this whole fight would break out just because I looked at this woman on TV. And you know, so then a massive fight would break out. It would last for hours and all hell would break loose. But then when that relationship ends and you're watching TV and you see, you know, possibly an attractive woman on the TV, you think, you know, oh, I remember when I used to get into fights about that, you know. And in a way, it's weird how it works. You sort of miss it, but at the same time you're glad it's not there. It's a strange conflict within your brain that you really can't explain. And you know, you'll be sitting there, and another angle is, you know, you'll be sitting there watching TV and you'll be like, well, I've got no one to talk to, you know, I'm sitting there by myself just watching TV. Whereas before I was actually having interactions with a person. That person might have been a complete dick, but there was still someone to talk to, whereas I'm just sitting here doing nothing, watching on TV. It's a very strange situation. It's a very hard situation to explain when you've been in it. And it's hard to explain it to someone who's never actually been through it, you know, because there are those lucky people out there that have never had to go through something like that. Anyway, we'll carry on.
Things, the way you hate me, I miss the screaming, the way that you blame me. I miss the rough sex, leaves me a mess. I miss the feeling of pains in my chest. Miss the phone calls when it's your fault. I miss the late nights, don't miss you at all. I like that kick in the face. Everything you do to me, I love the way that it hides. I don't miss you, miss the misery. I don't miss you, miss the misery.
Well, there we go. I Miss the Misery by Halestorm, and I have to say I do like that considerably more than the first track that I heard. When I heard Love Bites, you know, I thought the writing of the song itself was a bit sort of basic, a little bit cheesy, and you know, the song itself was just so teenage angsty, and I'm very underwhelmed by the overall performance. Whereas this track, you know, it's got a really interesting meaning to it. It's got a cool twist on it as well, rather than like the soppy love songs that so many people pump out. This is like not the exact opposite, but it's explaining a lesser spoken about part of being in a toxic relationship. So it was quite an interesting song. Her vocal performance here was so much stronger than the first track I heard, so much better, and more akin to what I'd heard on Shatter Me, which is the Lindsey Sterling track. It was actually a very, very good song, and I very much enjoyed it. Very catchy. The music in the background was fantastic. So yeah, I really enjoyed that track, and I'm glad it was suggested to me, because that first track had somewhat tainted my opinion of the band. But you know, you've got to keep an open mind. You can't judge a band just by one track. So yeah, I do have another Halestorm track suggested to me to react to, so I shall get around to that one eventually, and hopefully it will be as good as this one. But yeah, we'll leave that at that. If anybody would like to suggest any other tracks for me to react to, please by all means drop a comment in the comment section below, or send me a message on Instagram, and I will endeavour to check that track out, because obviously I can't keep reacting to these tracks if I don't have tracks to react to. But yeah, we'll leave that as it is. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.